Sorry, hell with my hand. It's hot.
Hey, joined by Tulane head coach Jay Ullman. Coach, congratulations on advancing to tomorrow's championship game. Give you a chance to get your drink there, and if your thoughts on the game, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I was just thinking about, I thought FAU was ready to play. They came out and, got one early, and then we turned right around and answered with a 3 spot, hung a 0, answered with another 5 spot, just a lot of really quality offense and at bats, and played really good defense, and the star of the show was Billy Price. He's the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's been what you hoped a senior with that much experience would give you, and what he's gone through in his life to be able to have these moments are really special. So our guys wanted this really bad. We wanted to end this in one game and not have the compound effect of waiting around and then playing another game late into the night and turn around and have an early morning. So a lot of positives that way. So just really pleased with the all around effort and really pleased with their attitudes and kind of where they're at mentally right now.
Okay, we'll open up to questions. Use the raise hand feature if you have one. Start with Jared, please.
Hey, Coach, Jared Joseph from WGNO in New Orleans. The fact that you guys get back to the championship game with a lot less drama than how it was last year, but to get back to this stage, what does it mean for the progress the team has made over the last year?
I appreciate you saying that. I think belief's a powerful thing. I think our coaches have done a tremendous job, have went out in the summer and really plugged some deficiencies and upgraded in spots and put us in position to have the right kind of people on board to move this forward. And of course, our returning leadership helping lead the way with the new guys and how that's kind of gelled over the course of the year. Job's not done. We got one more. But I certainly understand watching FAU and watching ECU go through their bullpens the way that they have. It gave me a greater respect. I even said to Coach Izio, watching all of that, about how little pitching depth we had last year, and for us to be able to do what we did last year has made it even more meaningful. But the way the guys have come this year with a purpose and a mission, I'm grateful that they've given us the opportunity to get back in this arena and have this opportunity to play for another championship and a spot in the postseason. So that's all you can ask for. You always hope that you lead the guys in the right way and you prepare them, and the staff prepares well. And once the umpire says play ball, it's all up to the guys out there between the lines. So just really proud of our resolve, our toughness, our tenacity, and just kind of where they've wanted to take this program. And again, we got a lot of room for improvement, and it's not a finished product, but just pretty gratifying to be back in this stage again.
Coach, I'll take the next one. And you touched on it a little bit earlier, but to be able to limit that team that's just scored 22 runs in its last 2 games, and to do it with one arm, can you just talk about going into a championship game, what that what that means to you and your club?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again?
The Florida Atlantic should put 22 runs on the board in the last 2 games. To be able to limit them to 1, to limit them with 1 run using just one arm of your own, what does that tell you? What does that indicate for you going into a championship game?
Well, I think anytime you can pitch well enough and play good enough defense, and we're fortunate to be in a position where we got some length out of our lead, and allows your pitchers to settle in and attack the zone a little bit more freely, especially with, real dangerous hitters. There's a reason they score the runs that they score, and they have the offense that they have, so, and caught them, a little short rested too. You got to give their guys credit for going out there and gutting it out and giving them everything that they could give. And it's just, again, we got out to a quick lead, and when you do that, it allows you to settle in, and you don't have to pitch as perfect or as fine, and maybe the damage on certain hits or walks aren't nearly as magnified as they would be in a tighter game. So You know, every team in this tournament, every team in our league are very challenging opponents. They're well coached and very talented team. So to be back in this spot and to be able to limit a really good Owls club, obviously, again, goes without saying, a lot of gratification there.
Take the next one from Gary Smith.
Hi, Jay. FAU didn't have a lot of options, but they chose to pitch a guy who'd thrown 91 pitches just 3 days ago. And once again, Connor Rasmussen, right off the bat, made him work really hard and kind of let him know how difficult that was going to be. What was the approach early? And obviously, he wasn't able to record an out before you guys got him out of there.
Well, he's been one of their best arms. He's an electric freshman that I'm not looking forward to seeing for another 2 years. You know, he's got really good stuff. And, you know, at this time of the year, guys ask for the ball. They want the ball. If you look at Favors from Wichita State, he was on short rest, 100+ pitches his last outing. He goes and asks for the ball, and he goes 7 really good innings. And unfortunately for them, they didn't pull it out. And, you know, I'm sure Beard probably said the same thing to John. You know, that these guys are competitors. They want the ball. And, you know, this is the time of the year you're either winning and advancing or you're going home. So, you know, if you're going to lengthen guys out, to me, this is the time of the year to be able to do that, where the guys have the summer off. If they're not off per se, but you know what I mean? There is no tomorrow if you don't win this game. So, you know, I thought Beard battled with what he had. I didn't, from last time we saw him to this time, I didn't think his off speed was near as sharp, which was a benefit to us. We were able to take some of those pitches and get him into fastball counts and get good swings off. But, you know, it is what it is. It's playoff baseball, and, you know, you got to answer the bell, and, you know, their guys try to answer the bell. We try to answer the bell. It's just the way that kind of works out.
I don't think anyone had Brady Margette getting back-to-back triples on their bingo.
Not me.
And yeah, he got lucky on the second one, but the first one was crushed to center field. Once again, he came through for you, as did so many other guys. But just having a guy like him that you know is going to put a good swing up almost every time he comes up, how much does that make a difference?
Well, and first and foremost, on the first one, you know, the young man had to leave the field. So that's never something that you want. And that's, you know, one of their faster players that's a threat offensively. So certainly hope he's okay. But I think that was, when he got to third on the first one, I said, "Oh, first career triple, huh?" He goes, "Nope, had one at ECU off the wall, same kind of thing." So he knew what he did. And obviously he got there on the second one, and we had a good time with that one. But yeah, he's done it time and time again for the course of his 3 years in our program. And he's very difficult to pitch to. If I had a penny for every time he took a borderline pitch for strike or for a ball four, or to get himself an account leverage and made somebody pay, I'd be really rich. He's really difficult to deal with as an offensive piece. So, you know, I voted for him as our player of the year in conference and so forth. So I obviously think the world of Brady. I think he's a professional hitter.
And starting pitcher tomorrow, is Chandler Welch a candidate for that, or the guy that you're planning to go with? And are you ready to announce that yet?
Not ready to announce, but I would imagine, you know, we still got J-Bob in the stable. He hadn't been out on that rubber yet. So that's, you know, potentially 3 or 4 innings there. And, you know, Chan's off of 4 days rest and 90 pitches and 4 days rest the week before on 58 pitches. So he rebounds pretty good. So, you know, I would expect, you know, we got Shuffler back and Benbrook back. And so we have a fair arsenal in our stable to try to manage tomorrow's game. So, you know, that part makes you feel really good when you go to bed. But again, they got to do it. You know, it doesn't matter how well rested you are versus how well somebody else isn't. There's going to be a lot of adrenaline. You're playing for a championship tomorrow, and you know, we gotta be ready for everybody's best bolt, and we gotta force the action and take it to the other team, whoever that is.
All right. Anything else for Coach?
I'm good.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate your time as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
And we'll bring in Gavin Schultz here in just a moment. Okay, fire away with questions for Gavin, please.
Okay. Gavin, you guys jumped all over their starter in the first inning. Just what was the approach at the plate at the start of the game? And obviously that puts you in a commanding position right off the bat.
So we've seen this guy before during conference play, and he's a lefty, a lot of off speed. So the approach was kind of just see this guy up, see his pitches up, and no hammer anything over the plate.
Mm-hmm. You hammered the one for the double. What was that pitch? And that gave you guys the immediate separation.
That was a changeup. I saw it pop out of his hand, stood up, and by the time it got to the plate, it was around my hip. So it was a good pitch to hit, and
yeah,
just tried to put a good swing on it.
And you guys have played 23 innings in 3 games. You're going to be playing, whoever you play tomorrow will have played an extra game, 2 extra games in one case. How much can that help you going into that game tomorrow, just being rested and ready?
Yeah, that's huge for us, especially for pitching. You know, we have so many bullpen arms ready to go that haven't even got to sniff the mound, like Coach said. So, you know, that gives us the advantage, and like Coach says, +1 for the wave.
And your graduate student co-captain pitcher has now given up 1 earned run in his last 3 starts. How big was that he even made your bullpen even more rested by going the distance today?
I mean, in a game like this, that is huge, and you know he deserves that. He works his tail off. You know, he's a great captain. You know, the guys have so much love and respect for that guy. You know, anything Billy says, you're gonna listen and use whatever he says to become a better baseball player. So, you know, I'm so proud of that guy. Everything he's gone through to get to a game like this is just awesome. He deserves it.
I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Anything more for Gavin? All right, Gavin, thanks so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right. Appreciate it.
Okay, joined by Florida Atlantic head coach John McCormick. Coach, if we just get your thoughts on the game, please, then we'll open up to questions.
Tulane was really good today. And before we start, I just want to talk about Billy Price. I met him a number of years ago. His high school works out at our place when he was diagnosed with cancer, and what he's been through, and to see him pitch like that today. And me and his parents had a chance to speak when they were in Boca. And I had a chance to speak to Billy a couple times here and one time in Boca, and he's been through a lot. And you know, I'm disappointed for my ball club, but I'm really happy for him as a person, for him to be able to get through everything he got through and be able to continue on his dream. And I'm happy for him, disappointed for us, but you know, he's a resilient guy and he deserves it. But the game, we just ran into a buzzsaw. I mean, we're limited on pitching. We had to play the extra game. As Jay said, Trey came in and said, "Give me the ball. I feel good." And didn't go our way, you know. And then their guy threw really well. And Jay was correct that they had a lead and it made it a little bit easier to pitch. We've got to do more with, but we had a few opportunities early. We got to do more with them. But all in all, tough day.
Thanks, Coach. We'll take questions. You use the raise hand feature. We can start with Gary, please.
Yeah. What are you seeing in this Tulane team right now? Since sweeping East Carolina a couple of weeks ago, their whole lineup seems to be hitting at the same time.
Their offensive approach and their ability to take pitches and drive the baseball in any count is they've been impressive. It's been impressive. When they came to Boca, I thought they were pretty good. And you know, we let that Sunday game get away from us with an error in the 9th. But this last couple of days has been impressive. Driving the baseball, hitting the ball the other way, taking their walks. It's been impressive. Very impressive.
We'll go to Richard, please.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
You know, despite all the ups and downs throughout the season, this team still made it to the semis in their debut in the American Conference Tournament. Do you see that as like a silver lining to how the year went down?
If you want to write it that way, that's fine. I don't see it. I did not think it was a good year for us. There was some certain highs, as you said. Too much up and down, not enough consistency. And, I take full responsibility for that. We've got to spend the off season and do a better job this fall of coaching our guys and getting them ready for a longer season. You're around it a lot. We've seen some really high highs and we've seen some low lows. The American is a very good baseball conference, but we need to get better.
Obviously, today saw struggles in hitting and pitching. What were some things that you were seeing out there that made you see that this team just was having a hard time dealing with Tulane on Tuesday?
Well, you got to throw strikes. Their guy said it perfect that, Trey's off-speed stuff was not what it was like before, and they were able to sit on the fastball. So you got to be able to throw strikes with more than one pitch to keep a good offensive team off balance. And then offensively, we were reticent to make changes. For a guy throwing like that, he wants us to pull him. He wants us to be really aggressive and get big instead of just taking what he gives us. And we just kept doing what he wanted us to do. And that's the mark of a good pitcher. And he had a great day. We've got to be able to recognize that earlier, which we did, but the recognition is only part of it. We've got to be able to implement it in the game. And we weren't able to do that.
Obviously, this is the program's first losing season in a long time, first since 1998.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, sorry. How much of a testament does that say to all the winning that the program has had throughout the past few decades, and to keep winning through all the adversity throughout those years?
Well, the way you say it, I feel terrible because we let down all those guys that did all that winning, this year. Like I mentioned earlier, we've got to get better. We've had some injuries, but everybody does, and boo-hoo, you got to move on. But as you say it that way, I feel as though that I let the previous guys down this year, and that's never our intention. And it means a little bit more to me because I've been here for 34 years. I know all those guys personally. I've been to their weddings. I know their kids, and it does bother me that this had happened on my watch. But it's part of it, and we've got to move on and get better.
Yeah, and with the off season to retool, how optimistic are you feeling about the guys that you have been recruiting throughout this past year and how they'll be coming in for next year?
Well, in this day and age with the portal and the NIL, things are completely different.
Right.
It used to be a little bit more stable, and you kind of knew, as I mentioned to somebody, a friend of mine in college baseball, their team got eliminated, and the second season starts now with the portal. And those meetings have become that much more interesting. End of the year exit meetings have become that much more interesting from a player's perspective and from a program perspective. And it's the guys that we've signed, we feel good about. Now we got to get some of them to campus through professional baseball, but that's part of it. And then we certainly have to deal with our team and see what some of those guys want to do. We have some guys that might have an opportunity to play professional baseball. And then, it's a never ending thing. The roster is for everybody is in flux all summer, and especially with Major League Baseball moving the draft back till mid-July, it does create additional issues. I know not as many college guys, or not as many guys, period, are getting drafted because it's only 20 rounds. But being that far back, it does create issues. When the draft was, June 6th, 8th, 9th, 10th, you could go through the draft and then you go, okay, these guys are here. this is what we need to replace. Let's work on it now. With the way it's done now, you're working on it and then you get a hiccup, which would be 45 days from now. And then you've got to kind of start over. And the ramifications for that for everybody are untold, because sometimes you sign over and then you have decisions and, conversations with people. So it's not an easy system now. We just try to communicate with our guys as much as we can, and everybody lay their cards on the table, and let's go from there and be truthful and honest. And this is how we feel. This is what we see, and try to go from there. But it's not easy for anybody. It's not easy for the coaches and the universities. It's not easy for the players, the players and their families, because part of it is there's too many third-party involvement that muddies the water at times. So all you can do is your best and tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may.
One last question for me. With 1 year playing in the American now under your belt, what's the ceiling you see with the programming, like becoming a high-level competitor in the conference?
Well, of course, that's what, every conference we've been in, when we went from the Atlantic Sun to the Sun Belt, from the Sun Belt to Conference USA, we're able to make those jumps. And this is a bigger jump, maybe a little bit more of a leap, and we've got to do better. We've got to do better in all facets of our college baseball program, from, facilities to salaries to support staff to everything, to budget. We've got our work cut out for us, but it's challenging, and we like challenges, and we're gonna continue to work on it and go from there.
Coach, thanks for your time, not only today, but this week. Appreciate it.
Okay. Appreciate everything.
Richard, thank you as well. All right.
Thank you, Chuck.